Hello and welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about app protection policy in Microsoft Intune. Employees of almost every organization nowadays uses personal devices to access corporate data. In this video, we will walk through creating an app protection policy to protect corporate data on these devices while making sure that employees can be productive. With the help of MAM, app protection policies, a rule can be enforced when a user attempts to access or move corporate data when the user is inside of the managed applications. Basically, this policy applies to the managed applications, which we will be seeing further. For example, if someone sends a message on Microsoft Teams, the user from their mobile devices can copy and paste it to somewhere else. Let it be the Gmail account or the personal email account or in somewhere else. So in this case, app protection policy will come into place and will restrict the user from copying that message from Microsoft Teams to other applications. So there are some prerequisites before we proceed with this. So app protection policy can be configured for apps that run on devices that are, number one, enrolled in Microsoft Intune. The next one is enrolled with a third-party MDM solution, and the third one is not enrolled in any MDM solution, which means that these devices are typically employee-owned devices. The other prerequisite is Microsoft Intune licenses is necessary to be assigned to the users, and then the end user must have an Azure Active Directory account. So let's go ahead and try to create an app protection policy. So I am into the Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center, from where you can manage, or you can configure Intune policies and everything. So from Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center, on the left-hand navigation, you need to choose Apps. And then you see the app protection policy option over here. Click on that. As of now, you're seeing that I have not created any policies. So let's just go ahead and create one. So once you click on create policy, you will be seeing three options over here: iOS, Android, Windows 10. So basically, what most of the organization do is, and what is the best practice or recommended practice, you can say, to create separate policy for the type of device. Like if you are having, if you wanted to create app protection policy for iOS, just create a single policy for iOS. So I've not created any policy till now. So let's just go ahead and create one iOS app protection policy. So before we proceed, so we are not going to dive deep on all the features, but with this you can have some understanding on how to get started. You can go ahead and look at all the options available, and you can accordingly choose what is best for your organization. Let's just name our app protection policy over here. So I'll give the name as iOS app protection policy. If you want, you can give some description over here, and you can see the platform over here, and then click on next. By clicking on next, you'll be moved to the apps group. So basically, in the apps group, choose how you want to apply this policy to apps on different devices. So for example, you see the first option over here, target to apps on all device types. So we'll just keep it by default, it is yes. So we will keep it as yes because we want all device types to be managed over here. But then if you select no, you'll be asked to choose the device type. So if you choose unmanaged, that means this application policy will only be applied to the unmanaged devices, which are personal devices, which is not enrolled with Microsoft Intune. And if you select managed, that means it will only be applied to the managed devices which are enrolled in Microsoft Intune. So it's best to choose this one because the users can have the corporate device or the personal device which are managed or not. So let's just keep it yes. After this, you see public apps. In this options, you can select the third-party apps or Microsoft apps, basically on which this basically it will be under public apps, and this app protection policy will be applied to those particular apps, and then those apps will be called as the managed applications. Below you see the custom apps wherein if suppose your organization had built any apps, and if you wanted to apply the app protection policy to those apps, you can do that. Now let's just proceed with selecting some public apps over here, and once we click, the first app we see over here is Adobe. So you see these are all, these are, most of them are third-party apps, which is either, it's available in App Store or which is Microsoft certified. So these apps appear over here. Now let's just choose few apps. So I'll just select Outlook, then Teams. We want these applications to be managed. So yeah, Dynamics 365 phones, Dynamics 365, and then maybe OneDrive. So this is how you can select many apps over here as per your requirements. Select, and then you can click on next. Once you click on next, you are under the data protection group. In this group basically includes the DLP control lines like cut, copy, paste, and few other settings. So basically the first option, if you see, the backup org data to iTunes and iCloud backups, which obviously you don't want for your organizations to be configured. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna block it, so that the users won't be able to back up the organization or corporate data to iTunes or iCloud backups. Now the other option you see is send org data to other apps, and of course you don't want that. So what you'll do is click on policy managed apps. You will be able to see that save copies of org data option is highlighted, and what does it mean is that you can save copies of organization data to any applications basically, or to any cloud storage, local storage. So basically what we need to do over here is we can just block this, and then you see that this particular option got enabled, which says allow user to save copies to selected services. And once you click on the drop down, you see these three options. So we will basically exempt OneDrive for Business and SharePoint. So any user who tries to save the copy of data to OneDrive for Business or SharePoint, they will be able to do that, but they won't be able to save the data on the local storage. And then you see this option which is restrict, cut, copy, and paste between other apps. So basically it is set to policy managed apps with pasting, and what it really means is that you can see over here, policy managed apps with pasting gives you the option to accept incoming content pasted from another app. However, it blocks user from sharing content outwardly unless sharing with a managed app. So basically this will restrict the cut, copy, and paste options, but you will be able to copy and paste from the other applications to the managed applications. Similarly, you can encrypt org data, and you have several other functional settings over here. Printing organization data, you can allow it or block it. So you can configure these settings as per your requirements, and then click on next. Once you click on next, you are under access requirements group basically. And access requirements group, here you can configure the PIN and credential requirements which user has to meet to access the app. So basically you can configure PIN, whether it should be numeric or passcode, or else using biometric, basically everything which is required for accessing the managed application. So almost all the mobile devices has biometrics, so you can click on, you can configure it as a require, and then Face ID. So these type of settings you will be able to do it from the access requirements. Now you go ahead one by one all the settings, and you can configure as per your requirements, and then click on next. Once you click on next, you will be under the conditional launching group. This allows to set up things around app conditions or device conditions. So basically, if suppose, like for example, below app conditions you can see maximum pin attempts. So if user tries maximum of 5 incorrect pin attempts, what will happen? It will ask to reset pin, or you can select to wipe the data from the device. Similarly, if the user is offline for a period of 90 days, what will happen? It will wipe out the data. So these sort of settings you can configure over here. And under device condition, so if somebody, like if suppose somebody is on a jailbroken and router device, of course we have to block the access. So yeah, these settings are available, or else you can wipe the data as well. So these are some settings over here, and you can configure more settings, like if you require to have something certain minimum OS version and all, you can choose those settings. And then click next, and once you click on next, you are under the assignment group, where you will need to add the groups for which this app protection policy will be enforced. So basically we can add the groups from here. You need to choose add groups, and you can add the security groups over here. So if you see over here, I have created one security group, and I have added all the users for whom we need to enforce this app protection policies are added to this particular security group. So we'll just click on security group, select it, and then add it. Once it is added, you can click on next. So basically every single member of this particular security group, for these group of users, this policy will be enforced. Now you need to click on next, and then you can review your settings, your app protection policy settings, and then you can just click on create. So this is how you can create iOS app protection policy. Then you can create Android and Windows 10 app protection policies. So moving back to the slide, the last thing which I want to show you, like how does it work. So I talked about how it will protect the data, how any user who is trying to copy and paste data from Teams to some other applications, it will restrict. So let me show you how it works. So this is my mobile device on which I have enforced the app protection policy, and you see I have opened MS Teams. Now what I'll do is I'll try to copy the data from here. So yeah, so I'll just copy the data, and now I'll try to paste the data on my Gmail application, and let's see if we can do that. So compose, and you see now when I try to paste the data, it says your organization's data cannot be pasted here. So yeah, it's restricting the application. It is restricting the user to copy the data and paste it to some other application. Yeah, so this is how the app protection policy works, and you can go ahead and you can create your app protection policy for your devices as per your organization requirement. And thank you for watching this video.